This video is all about the Meet One Breeze Pro 2.0. This is a full suspension, fat tire, folding electric trike. It's semi-recumbent. It has a massive basket in the back. It's huge. There's also a little one in the front. It can go in reverse. It's equipped with hydraulic disc brakes. It's also got parking brakes. Comes equipped with a torque sensor. Goes up to 100 miles on a single charge. And the seat is super comfy. Next up is my test ride. And if you're here for assembly, that'll be somewhere in the middle of the video, right after my test ride. And away I go. Right now it's on pedal assist 0, so it's just a bike, or trike. No assistance from the motor. There's 3 different pedal assist modes, so I'm just gonna click the plus button. The first one, you get some assistance from the motor. The second one, you get a little bit more. And the third one, which is the max, you get the most assistance from the motor. So I'm gonna see how fast this bike can go. I'm gonna put it on the hardest gear to pedal in, gear 7. Let's check its speed. So it looks like it's capping around 16, 15, yep, 15.9, 16. And now throttle only, the throttle is right here. It's just like a twist style, motorcycle style. 16. Actually, I think what we saw was 15.8. I thought it went to 20. I'm actually glad it doesn't, because e-Trikes are more tipsy than two-wheel bikes. Not so much when you're going straight, unless it's a really high speed, but definitely when you're turning. A lot of times with e-bikes, there is a way to unlock the speed. If there is, I don't even want to do it. They say on the website the max speed is 20 miles per hour, but as you saw, I got it to a steady 15.8, and then once in a while it got to 16. The Meet One Pro 2 is equipped with 90 Newton meters of torque, so let's see how well it does on my very little hill. First up, this is what happens if you have it on the wrong gear. This is gear 7, the hardest gear to pedal in, pedal assist 3. Next up, full throttle, full electric mode, no problem. And lastly, the correct way to do this. Gear 1, the easiest gear to pedal in, pedal assist 3 with a little bit of a head start. I want to see how well it turns on this little concrete square. For such a big bike, it turns very nicely. No issues there at all. And with fat tires like these are 4 inches wide and 18 inches in diameter. It can roll over a lot of stuff. It can roll over some sand. I don't know about beach sand, maybe nothing too crazy. It can do grassy areas. If there's twigs or anything in the way, it'll handle that. And gravel as well, but that's not in the video because I couldn't find a spot with that. And it also helps me with stability when I kind of slide off the sidewalk. I'm not used to riding an e-Trike, so I'm a little bit off center. But not only do the tires help with stability, I mean, fat tires definitely make e-bikes more stable. There's also something called a speed differential, and that is chilling in the center of the bike. I don't know if you can see it, but that's it right there. So what that thing does, it adjusts the speed between the 2 rear wheels. So when you're making the turn, you get a lot more stability. It's a smoother turn, but still slow down when you're turning, because if you go too fast, even with that speed differential back there, you could still tip the bike. One of the key features is reverse mode. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see the screen. It's a little bit dim. In real life, I think I can see it a little bit better than it's coming through for you guys, but it should be brighter. But anyways, to go in reverse, you have to be on pedal assist 0, which you probably can't see, which means the motor is off. Then you hold down this minus button next to the foot. You hold it down and keep holding it, don't let go until I keep wanting to say A, but it's an R. An R appears, and then keep holding the button, twist the throttle. And the pedals will move, so you gotta kind of move your feet along with it. And once you let go of that minus button, you apparently slide downwards on a hill and then end up cutting that part of the video. Let's do this again. So as soon as you let go of that minus button, it'll stop. But I definitely wasn't paying attention and kind of went in reverse for too long and started rolling down a little hill. Oh look, here's something I've never seen before. That thing. What is that thing? The spot where you can mount a trailer. So the frame is trailer ready. I am very happy about the ventilation in the seat. It helps. The seat is what they call semi-recumbent. The backrest is adjustable. There's various positions that you can have that in. And then if you loosen up these 4 screws over here holding it down, you can kind of slide it back and forth a little bit, but you do have to unscrew stuff to move things around. Very comfy seat, by the way. Oh yeah. These e-Trikes are super comfy. So before you say I am too young for, by the way, I'm 43 years old. I'll be 44 in August. But before you say I am too young for this, oh man, you haven't tried these seats. It's refreshing after some of the seats I've tried. Also, it's super easy to film one-handed. How about no-handed? Oh, this is nice. This is nice. It's so relaxing. Such a smooth ride. I guess that triple suspension helps a bit as well. The Meet 1 Pro 2 has a 750 watt brushless motor. This is powered by a single 48 volt 20 ampere hour battery, but there is an option to put in a second battery. It is ready for a second one, but it doesn't come standard with a second one. And once both are installed, you don't have to worry about switching between one battery or the other. It'll draw power from both. The max range is up to 100 miles, but that is under ideal conditions. Flat paved ground, no wind, using pedal assist 1, pedaling, and not having a large payload on the bike. The bike can carry up to 450 pounds total, including any cargo you have in the back. But if you're hauling 450 pounds, you're not gonna get 100 miles. Full electric mode, pedal assist 3, varying terrain, all will impact that range. So if you're just sitting there like a lump using throttle only, you're gonna pulverize your range and probably get about half that. So somewhere between like 40 and 60 miles. Of course, putting in a second battery will extend the range. I can tell just by using the bike that this has a torque sensor, which is a bit more high-end than Cadence, and it responds to how hard you're pedaling. So if I pedal harder, it goes faster. And it does as well with a Cadence sensor, but it's not as responsive. And with Cadence, like once it hits a certain speed, it just kind of maintains the speed as long as you're pedaling. With the torque sensor, it feels more like a regular bike. Yeah, that's kind of hard to explain, but with Cadence, it matters how fast you're pedaling, so it'll just maintain that speed however fast you're pedaling. And with the torque sensor, you gotta put a little more effort into it, so it won't react to just you pedaling. If you want to go faster, you have to pedal harder. So I prefer torque when it comes to like speeding up, if I want to rush past somebody, over Cadence, because Cadence, it will not respond like that. For reference, I am 5 feet 8 inches. And the recommended rider height for this bike is 4 feet 7 inches to 6 feet 3 inches. In centimeters, that's 140 to 190 centimeters. If I had to complain about something, it's gonna be the screen. When the sun is really bright, it can be hard to see, although right now, it's not that hard to see. Anytime I'm passing through some shade, it's definitely not hard to see. And the only other complaint I have is the way the way the bike was boxed up, packaged. I am not a fan of when rotors are exposed. I would rather have the back wheels already be on, but you're gonna see that very soon, what I'm talking about. Things I love about it. The mirrors are very much adjustable. The other reason sometimes I don't use them is because I just can't get them to work right for me. But these are perfect. I can see everything behind me just fine. The seat is super comfortable. I like that there's reverse mode. I could use some blinkers. I thought there was blinkers, but no, there's no blinkers. And did you hear the horn? I really like electronic horns over the little dinger bells. It folds, but I'm not even gonna try to do that. Even though it folds, it's still very, very bulky. It fits through a standard door, but the best if you're older and you struggle bringing things this size in and out of the house, I recommend keeping this in a garage. And the baskets. The back basket is massive. I love it. And it's even got this little cute one in the front. But that back one, oh my gosh. That is a basket. Okie dokie. It's time for my cheesy outro, sort of. Because next up I'm going to unbox and assemble the bike. I saved it for kind of midway through the video. Because it's kind of a lot, I'm not going to lie. But if at this point you decided you really like the bike, I'll have a link down below in the video's description. And do check down there to see if there's any coupon codes. Sometimes I have them, sometimes I don't. Toodaloo-lee-loo. Bye. Before I begin, I should probably grab the manual. I'm gonna try to follow it step by step. See what else is in here. Tools, hubcaps, miscellaneous parts and screws. There's also some touch-up paint, more screws. Headlight, got a security cable. But if you're gonna leave your bike in public, just take the battery out. More screws, tool, and the charger. Oh yeah, the latch. It's just this clamp, you push it down. Next is the front wheel. So I have to remove the nut and both washers off both sides. I've never done it this way. Usually the back wheels are already on for this part, so let's see how it goes. This is gonna be the same for both sides. So first the washer with the lip, regular washer, and the nut. And do be sure to tighten this really well on both sides. Next are the handlebars. You just insert them into the hole. So I thought, according to the instructions. Yeah, I don't think they got them kind of crammed flat. What I've done is loosen up these 4 screws right here, so now this thing moves. Now I'm gonna try inserting this whole piece. Kind of position them where I want them and tighten those screws down. Don't forget about this screw here. It kind of holds everything together. It's a really long screw. Next up is the fender. This is pretty self-explanatory. There's a screw here, and then one on the other side. So you just take those out and put this on. To install the basket, it's really easy. You just remove these 4 screws, then you stick them back through, well, not back through, but through the basket and then back in here. And that's it. Let's not forget the headlight. So the screw's already in the basket for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that out, skewer the light, grab the nut that was back there, skewer everything and tighten. Yeah, just let it hang. Just let it hang out for a little bit. Don't tighten it all the way. Grab a wrench, move this into position, and then tighten it down. And also don't forget to connect it so you actually have a light. Kind of hangs low, doesn't it? They should have included some zip ties, but I don't see any. That's better. I just fished it through like the metal bars holding up the basket. On to the next part that I'm really dreading. Instructions do make it seem pretty simple, and it is when this isn't here. I get why they did it. It's to protect the rotor and shipping. So I'm assuming I'm supposed to just grab this, hold it, but these are on there so tight, there's no way. Got them off. Well, my husband got these off. I wasn't strong enough. Next up are the back wheels. And you'll notice one side is more shallow and then the other side is deeper. The deeper side faces out. There's 4 holes right here and you gotta match them up with the holes here, which can be a little bit tricky. You have to be really careful when you do this and lift the whole thing not to bend the rotors. So don't just leave them on the foam, don't put them on the ground. I think this part's easier with the front wheel off, but I'm following the instructions and it said to do that first. So here we are. Okay, I managed to get 1 screw in there. It's so hard to line it up when you're by yourself. So I'm gonna not tighten it down all the way, just a little bit, just to kind of hold everything together, and then I'm gonna work on the other wheel. Putting it on the second wheel can be kind of tricky too, because this is where you gotta get rid of the foam, and then make sure that rotor does not hit the ground. This one went a lot quicker than the first one, I got them lined up, so I'm gonna go ahead and start putting these big screws in. Next, I gotta put on these caps. The screws are already in here, so I'm gonna take them out, stick them through here, and screw them back in. Now I can install the fenders. Let's get that second one in there. Kind of a tight space to work in. Now I can move on to the seat. So this goes here. So I'm gonna need 2 screws for this, and I'm not gonna fully tighten them down, and then a nut for the back. I'm just gonna get these things on here, but not tighten them yet. Now for the backrest. There's 3 different ways you can do this. It really depends how high or low you want it. And this will require 3 screws on each side. So there's 2 big ones and 1 little one. It may look like there's 4 screws that go in because there's 2 little holes, but you're only putting 1 little screw in. It all depends on like how you want this positioned. And finally, the basket. It may look like there's already holes made for this, and that'd be great. But it appears that it's these. I actually have to remove these, and that makes sense because I am out of screws at this point. Now I can put this lining back in and attach it. And she's done. So now all you have to do, well, charge up the battery, give it a full charge. There's also a little button here on the side, so turn that on. Pump up all the tires to 35 PSI, and now she's ready to go. So to turn on the bike, hold down the power button ever so briefly. The screen always does that thing. From here, you can use the plus and minus buttons to adjust the pedal assist level. The higher the level, the more assistance from the motor. The highest level is 3, and if you keep clicking, it round robins. To turn on the light, it's the light button, and that also turns on the tail light. The I button over here, if you click on it, it'll show you various information at the bottom of the screen. And finally, to turn off the bike, hold down the power button. All right, thank you again for really staying through the whole video. You are a trooper. The link to the bike is down in the video's description if you're interested. And now it's my second time to say toodle-loodly-loo. Bye. I hope to see you in the next one.